Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just making sure that we don't have any interference going on the line, since the energies are pretty hot. So I'm just thrilled to be with you today. Thank you for joining me. Where are you? I know you're on planet Earth somewhere, but where are you? It might be morning. It might be the next day. For some of you in New Zealand, it is the next day. And in Australia. So I'm just letting everybody flood in. Let's just let the floodgates open for everybody to join. You are so welcome. Apotisvarthi tiskaviasmo, from the bottom of my heart in Greek. Welcome. Sometimes we don't need so many words. Sometimes it's just the feeling that counts. And the lunar eclipse in Taurus is all about the feelings. Scorpio, Sun and Mercury and Mars, and Taurus, the feelings. So this is the longest eclipse of this century. It's going to last for 3 hours and 28 minutes, which is very, very long. And the United States will have the best view, actually, between 2:19 a.m. and 5:47 a.m. For those of you that are either very late birds or very, very early birds, you'll have front seats at the show on the 19th of November. This eclipse marks the changeover from a series of eclipses that have been happening in Sagittarius and Gemini to now a new series of eclipses happening over the next year and a half in Taurus and Scorpio. And eclipses are powerful moments that last for up to 6 months afterwards. And if they are hitting sensitive planets in your chart, then they can last even longer. So what's significant about this lunar eclipse? Because it's sort of, I've been meditating on it a lot and thinking now, what are the energies that we're putting into motion for about the next 6 months or so, collectively and personally? So one of the main aspects that's going on is Sun and Moon are always opposite. That's normal at the time of a full moon and a lunar eclipse. And squaring off with the Sun and Moon, we've got Jupiter in Aquarius. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion, of growth, of magnification. So whatever it touches, it magnifies. So if you've got something really positive going, it's going to magnify that. If you've got something that's a little bit shaky going, chances are it's going to magnify that too, which is not necessarily a bad thing. So how might this energy play out, and how can you use it constructively? Because that's what I'm looking for always, is like, this is what the energies are showing. And how can we use them in a way, collectively and personally, that will raise the vibrations and the frequency and enable more people to come through the doorways more easily. So the way I see this is that this is a time where we've got to go beyond what is comfortable. Jupiter wants you to grow. Jupiter changes signs roughly every year. So if you can imagine, each school year, there's a different Jupiter sign, usually. So let's say Jupiter's in Gemini for that year. You might find, if you're a teacher, that the kids are very chatty and talkative and they want to talk all the time. Can't shut them up. And let's say another year, Jupiter's in Scorpio. Then the kids are going to be very keen on delving and getting to the bottom of things. And you might have a lot of more intensity and a more stubborn-minded set of pupils. So the energy of that Jupiter carries for about a year. And so the Jupiter energy that we're dealing with now is Jupiter in Aquarius. And Jupiter in Aquarius is stretching you, to be the individual that you are, and not to be frightened to be the individual, unique you. Now, that's not always easy because we are hardwired to want to blend in with whoever's around us, with whatever's going on around us. There are many studies been done in this field, but just to take one that was done, they gave a group of people, most of them, 99%, were given a stimulant. 1% were given a sedative. And when they put the people together after they'd taken the pills, the people who were given the sedative behaved as though they'd had a stimulant, even though they'd had the sedative, because of the energy, the herd, if you like, what was going on in the herd. And Jupiter in Aquarius is saying to you, never mind what's going on in the herd, what's going on in you that is important for you, that maybe you need to speak up about. It might be uncomfortable. For example, it's very uncomfortable for me to do my first art exhibition, which is this Sunday in Marathona in Greece. Oh, and it was such a stretch. It was like, I mean, I love Dimitri. He's kindly letting me use his yoga and his music place. It's got a piano, it's got everything there. It's a wonderful place, right where the marathon starts. So the energies of the place are very strong. But there was such a big part of me that wanted to just stay home and warm and not bother. Then I'm looking at these aspects and I'm going, come on, girl, get out of that comfort zone and do it anyway. So what can you stretch into? Tell me what you are going to stretch into. What are you going to grow into? Some of the key words with Taurus and Scorpio, this is what we're dealing with for the next year and a half, are determination, persistence, self-control. It's really like just not giving up, not taking no for an answer. I had that today. I was out at the market, the outside food market, once a week market. I was just coming back with my shopping and this little guy followed me to the car and he wanted to sell me something. I didn't even know what it was. I get in the car and he's changing my windscreen wipers. He's pulling off the ones on my screen and he's putting on better ones or thicker ones. What do I know? So he wouldn't take no for an answer. He said, okay, put your washers on. And to tell you the truth, it was very good. I said to him, how much do you want? He says, €5. I gave him the €5. Then he wanted €8. Well, at that point, I said, look, first you want 5, then you want 8. So I gave him another couple of euros. He looked like he could do with it. But that's the kind of persistence that is required at this time. So think about what are you finding difficult in your daily life? And what do you want to go beyond? So Gillian is going to stand up for herself and enforce your boundaries. Okay, if you're going to do that, Gillian, set yourself a specific target with a specific person or persons. Make it really tangible. Running a new music education course for preschool teachers. That's great, Judy. Awesome. Awesome. April, what are you going to grow into? Okay. Tenacity, lumpy custard, like that. Alexa birthday tomorrow on the eclipse. Wow, that's a strong birthday. So yeah, make sure you make some very specific things. So here are the things that I find difficult that I'm working on that are, I would say, failings. Dean, I appreciate that. Thank you. I find that if somebody talks a lot, and I mean a lot, I do find that my concentration is not 100% sometimes. So I'm working on that, working on really, really listening. It's difficult, not an excuse, shouldn't be an excuse. It's especially difficult in Greek. I have to listen double hard. And sometimes I find my attention wavers. So that's one I'm working on. I'm working on reaching out and interviewing new people on my channel because I want to introduce you to a richness here. I want you to feel there's a wealth of upliftment and possibility here and acceptance and love. So I'm working on that. This is great. You're all sharing your things. It's great. Sticking to your health plan, aim for the stars. Yeah, great. So I've reached out. I've reached out to Eckhart Tolle. Okay, he turned me down. I've reached out to Sadhguru. I've had another decline. I don't care. I'll keep going. I'll be like that man with his windscreen wipers. If you can sell windscreen wipers to people in Greece at a market, that takes some chutzpah, as they say in Yiddish. It takes a real, but that's what's needed now. So reaching out to new people, I have to say, I'm excited that Lynn McTaggart will be coming on next week. So put that date in your diary, next Thursday at 4:30 p.m. UK time. So put that date in your diary because you do want to hear about her intention experiments. Thousands of people have received healings, physical healings, healings of relationships. I mean, you name it. I mean, I'm very enthusiastic. I'll be doing a trailer about that to tell you a little more about it. But Lucy, put it in the chat, please. Lisa Love, thank you. And Lucy, thank you. I don't know where I'd be without Lucy. She's fantastic. I just can't praise Lucy enough. She's just always, always ready to help. And she's brilliant. And thank you, April, for hopping on today. And also Jimmy. What a great team. Now, so I'm going beyond that discomfort. So this Jupiter is just saying, oh, where can you go beyond? And we are programmed, you see, to fit in. You know, they're trying to get us to herd immunity, but we've also got a herd mentality. Charles Eisenstein, he's another one of my, I've invited him on. I don't know whether he's going to say yes or no at this point, but I'm very enthusiastic about the work of Charles Eisenstein. You might want to check him out. He talks about the fairy tale of the princess and the pea. And I don't know if you know the tale, I won't tell it in detail, but it's about this prince who's looking for a princess. And he wants to know only the woman, the person who can feel this pea underneath 20 mattresses will be his true princess. And finally, someone comes along and she feels that pea and she can't sleep all night long. So the question is, what's the pea in your mattress? PEA, by the way. What is it that's uncomfortable that perhaps you're just getting used to, or you're tolerating, or you're putting up with? You know, it's like that little stone that's in your shoe. And you think, oh God, shall I undo my laces and undo it and put it, you know, get that stone out, look at it? Or shall I just try and swivel it around and get used to it? So what are you swiveling around and getting used to that you know you're not comfortable with? You know? And I think there's a lot of us not comfortable with certain things right now. Are you willing to risk the response of the herd to stand up for what is truly important to you? What lump are you carrying around with you? Because people know when truth is being told. They know it, you know it. Sometimes you might get angry. Sometimes people might reject you. But you know. So I've been thinking some more. So what's the lump in your shoe? Let's have a little share here. What's your lump? What is it that you know inside you that's not sitting right? It's not okay with me. You know, I've had some very lively conversations about the V with various people. Sure, I have. Have a very dear friend, and I love her to pieces. And we can't talk about it. You know, I was addressing some things very peaceably. And she just said to me, look, this is making me very angry and I'm not going to talk about it. Okay. We managed to do that peaceably. So what are the things and what action are you prepared to do to go outside of what might be comfortable for you to make sure that you don't go around with that pea in your shoe? It's great. You're sharing lots of things here. It's great. So actively think about that. But then also actively, when you are thinking about taking action or speaking out, make sure that you do it consciously. All right? Be aware of what you're doing. Because Eckhart Tolle, another one of my heroes, as you know, he was sharing the other day the quote by Nietzsche, who says that whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process, he does not become the monster. So there's certainly quite a lot of evil and corruption and things going on, but we need to be aware that we don't become crazed in that energy. And he continues to say, and if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back at you. So we've just got to stay really conscious. And we're moving into this whole age of Aquarius. And thank you for liking the video, by the way. Thank you. Lucy's encouraging you. And so many of you are contributing here. I'm so appreciative of that. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And just if you like this video, if you do, of course, not coercing you, it helps more of our brothers and sisters to join us and to co-create something magical here. So yes, Deborah, right, don't go down to their energy level. Exactly. Thank you. So I've been looking at 2022, you know, what are we leading into? So on Christmas Eve, we've got the exact square of Saturn and Uranus, which is being amplified by this lunar eclipse. And so Uranus is freedom, and Saturn is about self-control. And self-control is important. Yeah, it's another quality of this Taurus Scorpio energy. They did this experiment because self-control is a very important quality to have. And studies have shown that people with self-control are happier, have better relationships, more successful. It's a quality to have and to develop. But they did a little test with some very young children with the marshmallows. Some of you may have heard this. And they said to these young children, you can either have one marshmallow now, or if you wait while the interviewer goes on an errand, when he comes back, you can have 2 marshmallows. So off the interviewer goes, and you can see these little children, they're so sweet, you know, shall I grab at the marshmallow now, you know, shall I, shan't I? And the study showed later on that the children who were able to exercise self-control, i.e. Delay gratification, were the ones who did have more successful lives. So self-control is an important frequency, because you want to have self-control over anger, over unconscious behavior. Yeah, this is something that is valuable here. And I don't find that easy, I must admit. I don't at all. I had to get a new phone recently because my phone, still using the old one, but the battery is definitely going. And the man in the shop said, don't worry, I'll get all your WhatsApp contacts and I'll do it for you and I'll get back to you. Because now I can't go into the store without a test. See, so it's more difficult. And he's never got back to me. And inside, I've been fuming, bloody fuming, I have. And I'm thinking, and I was about to send him an unpleasant text, right? It wasn't rude, but it was certainly not very nice. A bit like, I was saying something like, my ego was terrible. It was like, I'm beginning to feel sorry I bought the phone from your store. You know, it was that kind of energy. God, it's embarrassing even to share this, but it seems to be coming up. And something inside my tummy said, wait, that's a bomb. Do not send a bomb. So I waited. And then I was walking by the store and I saw him and I waved. And he came running out. And he said, look, he said, I've not been able to find the answer. I haven't been able to do it. And we had a very nice interchange. He sent me somewhere else who also couldn't help, but that's another story. But I saved myself from karma, negative karma. So learning that self-control button is a very important button. So I'm thinking more about this Taurus energy and what's it triggering now for us as we move into this whole year when we've got not only the eclipses with the Taurus energy, but Uranus in Taurus, square to the Saturn all next year. Yes, we're talking about the economy. Yes, we're talking about money and material wealth and physical things and survival. And I've talked a lot about that. But today, what I want to talk about as well is spiritual wealth. Because we must begin to move away from all the materialistic pleasures that we thought would bring us happiness and joy, when in fact it's been momentary, it's been passing, it's been transitory. Whereas there are spiritual treasures that we can cultivate in our Taurian gardens that can bring us everlasting joy and peace and goodness. So what are those? What might those be? Because we've got to find the balance here. So here's a spiritual treasure. If you act, it's been found, this is scientifically proven. If you actively think loving thoughts about every person that you come in contact with, and you wish them well, it's good for your health. And it's like an automatic tranquilizer. It will give you peace. So that's a great habit, because Taurus likes habits. It's a great habit to cultivate. We're looking at cultivation here. What are we going to cultivate? So that's one I'm working on. So if you want to have physical and mental calmness, just think kind thoughts about every person you meet and wish them well. And it's funny, when I go on my walk, I have a little walk that I go round 2 or 3 times a day if I can, if I get the time, just so I'm not sitting in front of the computer too many hours. And there's this lovely old lady, and she doesn't speak a word of English. And she's on her balcony. When she sees me coming, she goes, "Ella Corizzi, darling, glicam." And all she does is just blow kisses at me. One after the other. That's all she does. We don't exchange many words, other than "how are you?" and "very good" and "thank God, all right." It's just blowing kisses. And it's such an uplift. Every time I go past that house, I think of that lady and I think, wow, she just blows kisses at everybody who comes past. So this is one that you might want to adopt. Although maybe you've got others. What are the spiritual treasures that you want to develop? Because these are treasures that you take with you all your life. And they'll affect your money and your finances for the better anyway. But don't worry about that. Yeah, let's take the focus away from that, because it's so unstable. and so unpredictable. This is where I'm suggesting we put a little more focus, using the powerful energy of this eclipse to turn it around into the positive frequency. So, gratitude, of course, is a huge one. Yeah, I mean, gratitude is a wonderful spiritual treasure to cultivate. I love Rumi's quote here. Wear gratitude like a cloak, and it will feed every corner of your life. So just imagine you're wearing it. It's like, wow, because Taurus likes to wear things, likes nice things. But if you just emanate the frequency of gratitude, your life will transform completely. So that's one. If you, generosity of spirit, that's a great one, Lucy. Yeah, developing that. But yeah, be the love you want to, yeah, just be these things. These spiritual, your ritual, a special ritual would be to think about spiritual treasures that you want to cultivate in your garden. Don't look too much at the material things, because the Taurus energy is materialistic, but it's also very spiritual, especially with Uranus in Taurus. We are being encouraged as we're getting the breakdown of our systems, of all the things that we could rely on, the pension, the job, the salary, the health insurance, whatever it is. A lot of these structures are going to be crumbling over this next year or so. So what are the things we can rely on? Our spiritual wealth. That's like a rock that you can rely on because it's inside of you. You take it wherever you go. You haven't got to worry if the bank goes down. It's inside of you. So, another thing that I like to work on is seeing life more as a dream and not getting too embroiled in the drama, because there's a lot of drama with Scorpio South Node. There's going to be a lot of drama knocking about. So with all this drama, one of the ways of minimizing your emotional reactions is to see life more from a dream view, which is this Neptune-Jupiter energy, which is coming next year, especially strong March, April time. I mean, just little examples. I paid UPS. I paid them twice. They took the money from the bank, and then I wasn't here when they delivered the parcel, and Tasuli paid them. So they've got the money twice. Okay, fine. But am I having a fight on my hands to get back a couple of €100? It's not a small amount of money, not small potatoes here. And it's going to take probably about 60 days to get the money back from these people. And I could feel myself, getting into a fume. I'm thinking, no, it's just a dream. It's just a dream. Do what you need to do, but put it out of your mind. So these are the things that I'm working on. Have I perfected them? No. That's why I'm working on them. And I want to cultivate them more and more. And I think we're going to see more and more communities coming up, people working together, people who don't want to be a part of a particular herd that's going in one direction. Which direction do you want to go in? Which direction is uncomfortable with the pea or the stone in your shoe? Where are you going? And again, this Aquarian energy is about freedom. I love this quote from Nelson Mandela. To be free is not merely to cast off one's own chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. So I think that's going to be a topic that's coming up as we move forward. And no person is your friend who demands your silence or denies your right to grow. It's just maybe things that you might be thinking about, because I've been thinking about them. And finally, I'd just like to end with a quote by Margaret Mead. I've quoted this before, but I think it bears repeating, because I think it's relevant to all the aspects that we're navigating. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. So even if it's just one of you or a few of you, I mean, we've got a lot of us here, yeah? Isn't it wonderful? What a beautiful soul family we have here together. And thank you, by the way, for liking. I appreciate that. Many of you have just liked. So I just leave you with these thoughts. Think about the spiritual treasures that you want to cultivate. Contemplate. Go deep inside yourself. It's still a scorpionic energy. It's an internal energy. And above all, with the Taurus energy, don't forget to enjoy Mother Earth and to bless Mother Earth and to be grateful for Mother Earth. And another little thing that you might like to think of doing, which I do try to remember every time I send a message or speak to somebody, I say a little prayer for them. Just a nice little uplifting prayer. It's another thing, just to cultivate some new habits. And once you've done something, they say, for about 30 days, it becomes automatic. So I just want to thank you all for being here. I'm so, so grateful. And thank you, Lucy, for doing a terrific job. Thank you, April. Thank you, Jimmy. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. Evcharisto para poli, as we would say here in Greece. Thank you very, very much. Bye for now.